Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner and I have a very special guest in the corner. Would you like to unveil your identity to the masses?
Or I can leave it a great mystery. Should I do some voices and they can guess?
That would actually be pretty neat. We do have a live chat.
Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm Cathy Weseluck, and I've been a voice actor for many, many years, and I'm thrilled to be on 91.8.
And thank you very much for coming on to the show. It's always nice to have a fellow girl on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Girl power.
Definitely. You'd be surprised. I talk to more guys than anything, and I think it's all Chris's fault.
Oh, Chris. Well, there are more roles in general for guys out there, so we're trying to expand that, and we've had some really good roles coming up now that are women based. So we're happy. Plus, we do a lot of crossover, so
Oh
there's
yeah,
lots of
that's
room for
true.
women. Yeah.
And a lot of girls out there they can now do like little boy voices and things like that.
Yes, they can. That's a specialty, but a lot of women are doing that. And one of the reasons people have asked me why that's the case, and just to sort of cut in on that, we do want to use real kids first most of the time when they're casting for boy voices. But sometimes they do use women because, of course, boy voices change and whatnot, and sometimes the series continues, so they don't want that change to happen. But we'll go for the real thing if we can, for sure.
I can definitely understand that. I can remember a few series where you had like a male character and then, you get to the sequel and you're like, whoa, is it the
That's
same dude?
right. Yeah, they tend to change it. I mean, my boy voice career goes back a very, very long time, and I know a lot of you guys know some of the roles I played. But yeah, it's amazing to there's also projects we've had to do, which are ADR based. We are lip syncing to things, and we've actually had to do live lip syncing to live on camera kinds of shows. It's kind of like a looping job. So when you do that, you have to watch the television and then lip sync into the picture, and it's a very, very subtle thing. So some of the ones of us that do specialty things have had to do boys, girls, men, not men. I've done a male voice, and I think I can't get over about 15 for the boy voice, but there's lots of work out there for women and for girls. Yeah.
Well, how do you find out that you can do a voice that, well, isn't your gender really?
Well, I think it's just a matter of exploring that. There's different levels of the boy voice. So if I want to go really young, and I can sort of talk like that, and I'm like this, and it's really high, and oh no, come on, you guys, it is so awesome. It's more clean. If you want to go a little older, then it can be, yeah, come on, you guys, I just sit right down here, shut up, there's no way. You can get really deep, but you have to have kind of a base range where you're capable of doing it. It's almost like a biological thing. So, if you're a girl that has a high voice, you're not likely going to be able to do that range just because your voice print is higher. So, what you might do instead is do something that's more charactery, like sort of talking like this, kind of like this, or a more Chiaotzu kind of voice and Dragon Ball kind of thing. Which is that? Oh no, Vegeta, this kind of thing. So, it's still a boy in a way, but it's not as authentic. And I think it depends on the girl's actual voice placement. But you have to explore it.
Well, I will say for the higher boy voice, I would assume that that's more commonly found in anime because anime is not afraid to have effeminate characters.
Well, that's true too. But you'd be surprised, a lot of the American or Canadian shows too, if they want to go really cartoony, then you can do the higher pitched one too. Not so much the effeminate stuff, but just a kind of something that has texture or that's cartoony. Like this, you can put something on the voice like this, you see, and that's kind of cool. So it's not as real as a natural voice, like say Near and Death Note, but it's still a boy.
Well, now you started in radio, so how did you find your way into voice acting?
I worked at the CBC actually for a few years. Started in Toronto and then got a promotion to Vancouver. So I am from Toronto. And the host of the show that I was working on, I was an associate producer for a couple of years with a show called Disc Drive. And the host of the show, his name was Jurgen Goth, worked for another radio station as well. And he said, you've got a good voice. Have you ever tried doing commercials or voiceover in general? And honestly, I had no idea what voiceover meant at the time. So I said, yeah, you want me to do something with you? And he said, sure. So that's when I got my start doing 21 radio commercials for Vancouver Centre Mall and just doing some sort of insert voices. And it kind of took off from there.
And now you've been in the industry for quite a while. Have you noticed that it seems like fans have, begun to stalk in a nice way their favorite voice actors and actresses more recently?
Well, for sure. I think that's always been the case once a voice or a show gets to be popular. And I think that's great. I mean, it's the fans that make it happen. It's the fans that we perform for. And we wouldn't have the shows without the fans. So I think it's great. I mean, a lot of us really, really welcome that. And I know a lot of people like Trevor Duvall and Lee Toker, who are very sweet guys. I just love working with them. They have their blogs and things that they've done, and I think it's terrific. So we don't mind getting, contacted from fans. It's just honestly, in my case, it's just a matter of time for me and volume. And I'm the kind of person that would like to, really give a good response when I have the time to do it. So I
Now,
appreciate it.
one of the shows that you work on, My Little Pony, has a very interesting audience because you would think that show is mostly aimed to little girls, but
Yes, that's right.
but a lot of the audience that really goes wild for that show is actually teenage males. Does that
Yeah.
surprise you?
Well, it actually did, until I kind of understood what that was all about. Because My Little Pony is a show that's been going on for years and years and years, and one of the earlier shows was called My Little Pony Tales, and so it was very girl based way back then too. So yeah, we were really surprised when we heard all about the bronies coming in. I think it's terrific. I mean, I think it's great that, if I'm not mistaken, that their stance is, to be the great protectors, I guess, of the little sisses out there. I mean, I guess that's what it is. But it is surprising, yeah, and I'm really happy to hear that. That's terrific.
I love that you know the term. That
Ponies,
that
yeah, yeah.
that just shows that, it's really got a wide reach out there, and for the cast to know about it is kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, no, we sure do know about it, and as I say, it's just another branch of fans that are interested in what we do. And from what I do know about the Bronies, they're really involved in knowing about the plots as well, and the morals and values. And I think that's what My Little Pony really is all about, is the morals and values, and keeping it really quite innocent and pure. And I think we've lost a lot of that. At least the kids have.
I can agree with that to some degrees. Like one of my favorite shows back when I was a kid was Sailor Moon, which is all about love and justice and friendship. So,
Yeah,
if you have something positive to watch, you have something positive to watch. It's always good to have that.
absolutely. I think so too, because there still can be happy endings even when you're older.
That's very true.
It's true.
And now for dubbing, I'm not, I'm sorry, excuse me, for animation, that
Hmm.
actually is completely different from dubbing. Can you explain the difference between the two?
Sure. There's various recording methods that we work with in the animation realm, and ADR, which is also known as dubbing, it's literally animated dialogue replacement or audio digital reproduction, is basically a process where a cartoon, let's take it in the cartoon realm because there is on-camera work that we call looping. It's a similar process. But in the animation world, basically we have a cartoon that's already been recorded in the host country. In this case, we do a lot of Japanese stuff, as you know. And so the process in that case is to take that original script. It will be revised into English, and so we're doing basically an English version of it. So what we're doing is we go in as actors individually into the recording studio. We have a television monitor in front of us and a microphone and a stand, and we basically go line by line and record our lines as we go, referring to the television for a time code where we begin. Now, you can also begin your line with three beeps that you get in your headsets, which is the typical way to start. So you're standing in front of your microphone and your stand. There's a television monitor in front of you. You have your script in front of you, and you get three beeps in your headsets. So it's beep, beep, beep. And what would be the fourth beep is when you deliver your line. And you do this individually, independently from any other actors for every line you have in however long the script is. Sometimes we have long passages, and so we might start off the line with these beeps, and we might make a mistake halfway through the paragraph. No problem. They can just play back what you did, and then you can jump in after you hear yourself and continue. So that's more dubbing, ADR, and the majority of the anime stuff we do is definitely that. The animation prelay recording format is different. It's usually when it's a Canadian original or American. And basically, we go in with a group of 5 to 9 actors in a studio with a engineer and a director, and we record the show scene by scene by scene together with other actors. And that's a real joy for us because we get to play off each other and get a real sense of the storyline by being together. And in dubbing, you're only doing your own lines, no other actors are there.
Well, do you prefer one over the other?
Well, if you ask any actor about the pay rate,
That's true. I
they
know
say,
about
yeah,
that.
for sure, the prelay does pay better for an episode. However, you can certainly do very well in dubbing as well because you can make your money in the amount of lines you have. So, to me, the challenge and interest in dubbing is the skill of being able to lip sync, stay in character, and nail that. I mean, that's a challenge. And so I enjoy that. And you also rely more on the director in that case because you don't get to hear the lines that come before and after your lines. So in a prelay, when you're working together, you would hear the actors before you and you can respond and react to them. But you're sort of working in a bit of a cave by yourself when you're doing the lip syncing. So prelay, yeah, love doing that because you're working with your actors and it's just a joy to do that. You like it's nice working in a group where you can get the scenes flowing.
Well, I would assume also you need to rely on a director a lot for video game work as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Video game work is the lines are a lot shorter because I guess they're. I mean, I'm not a. I really can't speak on how technically it's all put together in that realm, but yeah, the lines and paragraphs are slightly shorter, and you have to do each line 2 or 3 times to give them a different take on it. And yeah, you're pretty much quite reliant on the director in that case because they have so much more information and they know the storyline better. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And for those of you who want to let all that information sink into their brain,
I
don't
know.
fret. We're going to have a very short break here on the show, so stay tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't.
Hi, I'm Masako X, proud member of the Team 4-Star Posse. When I'm not gallivanting around voicing naive Saiyans, perverted old men, and a bit of the odd vocal gender bending, I like to listen to 91.8 The Fan. They got everything I need to help me breeze through my editing with smiles and sunshine. I like to sing the odd karaoke, as well as review anime on my show Anifile, available at masakox.blip.tv, where I showcase the latest releases from Japan. Plus, if you ever wanted to get into voice acting, I also host the show Masterbox, where I aim to get you started in this fun online activity. So with that promotional canvassing out of the way, I return you to this stellar programming on 91.8 The Fan. Catch you later, and happy listening.
Hey, all you fanatics out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and I still have my special guest here. At least I hope so.
I'm here.
Yay, she's alive!
I'm still here. I haven't gone into a time warp yet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I hid the DeLorean for a reason.
Right.
I actually just watched that movie the other night.
And
Well, it's one of my favorite actually. Ghostbusters and the Back to the Future trilogy is one of my favorites. But one of our staff members had never seen either of those series, and he's older than I am, and I can't. I was like, what? What? So I forced him to watch it.
good for you.
But we were talking behind the scenes now that I've gotten off track with time travel about your voice acting classes, and I was wondering if you could tell the listeners a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, I have been teaching for one heck of a long time, and I try to get workshop. Well, I try to get them out monthly. It just depends on my schedule, but the fans can go to. It's a website posting. It's not really my true website, which I've been trying to get completed for the longest time. But they can still go there to www.cathyweseluck.com and see when we're having them. Yeah, we do 2 workshops. One's our animation and radio commercial voiceover workshop, and the other one is a 2-evening narration workshop. The narration one is more kind of corporate industrial videos, more on the business side, like you were sort of saying, Jackie. And whereas the animation commercial one is kind of we covered both of those areas. So they can go there, and if they want more information, they're welcome to request it. Yeah.
And what I think is really neat is that you have the animation and the radio commercial voiceover workshop together. Usually you see that separately, so I think that's interesting that you found a connective thread between the two.
Well, we've been doing this for oodles and oodles of years since the glaciers froze over, actually, and they're melting now. Oh no! But we were actually, I think, one of the first, if not the first, to offer the two together. And also at the same time years ago offer a rehearsal run through and recording session, a simulated rehearsal run through and recording session of the prelay recording method. So people will get a chance to actually do that just as we do it in the real thing. And plus, we would also get you on mic and train you how to do a commercial. So yeah, we do that, and I think it's important. One of the reasons that I do that is again simply a time thing. If I'm going to give people a good shot at learning how to do this, we try to compact it into a full day with all the tools that they need, and we don't hold back our secrets or our tools or techniques, because there's a lot of broad information that one can have, but getting down to the actual how tos is, I think, what's important. And so that's what it's about for both areas. We just get to the point.
Definitely. And now for listeners out there that want to ask you any questions or keep up to date on what you're doing, you obviously actually you told us earlier that you don't do the Facebook and Twitter thing, so how can they do that?
Oh no, oh no. Well, and I just want to be clear to fans that it's the only reason is because I am so busy that the volume is it's just overwhelming. So I don't mind if they send an email at Gmail, Cathy Weseluck, at gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer as many as I can. They can also do the old snail mail. I may eventually get onto Facebook and Twitter. It's just honestly a matter of time. And there's just so many emails that come in as it is. So that's the only reason, not trying to be antisocial.
Well, it's understandable too because, Facebook and Twitter are kind of like a new generation thing. And you
Absolutely.
see so many people who are like 12 on their cell phones,
Yeah.
twittering away, and it's like I didn't even have a cell phone when I was 12.
I know. Well, this is it. I mean, back we didn't even, computers were relatively new. Well, certainly cell phones were relatively new, and now all the technology brimming off of that. But I personally find it so interesting. Human nature is kind of something that I always find interesting, and that's why I'd enjoy developing characters and things. But it fascinates me to see where we're all headed in the future, and with respect to social media and interacting with each other, because it's a completely different matrix now.
It is, and then you have that weird I can be anonymous on the internet, so people don't hold back sometimes.
I don't know about that. You guys with a whole dating scene in that. I mean, that's a funny thing, you know. It's just like don't. I don't know. I like to meet. I like to meet in front of each other, and you know. I know you still do that, but social media is so quick and it's so.
Well, I understand that though. Even though all of us in the staff, we all work in separate places, when I meet them in real life, that's when I feel that I can actually judge them properly.
For
Like make an actual impression of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's great. I think it's terrific. I mean, people who would not normally connect are connecting all over the world, and they can do it instantly, and I think that's fabulous.
Yes, that is very true. Technology, a wonderful thing.
It is. It is.
And now, are there any projects that you've recently come out with that you want the fans to know about or that you're working on that you can talk about?
Well, one that I'm working on, unfortunately, I can't talk about.
Dang it.
All I can be, I know, I'm sorry to say that, but people will know soon enough. And I can, it's usually when we're actually working on the project, we really can't talk about it because there is a lag as to the time when it comes out. And so we like to keep it exciting and new. But so what I can say is that the shows that I have worked on, the commercials I've done, the corporate videos, the games, have all been really exciting and terrific. And it's always exciting for us to find out which of these projects we do really resonate with you guys, with the fans. I think that's part of one of the exciting things for us is finding out what really does work and what it is you like about it. So we're always happy to get feedback on that.
Well, it does sound like you already have had a lot on your plate for 2012, which is always a good thing.
It's true. It's true. It's been relatively busy. Not the busiest I've had. It was a little bit crazy through Christmas, but yep, it's constant, and we hope there's a whole whack of new projects coming up soon.
Actually, that's an interesting question. I've never gotten to ask this, but do studios take holiday breaks? Do you ever get the chance to,
Sure.
Not
Yeah,
good.
no, usually the Christmas holiday, everybody does shut down for a while, and but I do find sometimes there is a bit of a surge in work before Christmas comes, and it just might be a budgetary thing. But when we're all sort of thinking we're gearing down, it seems to be the busiest time sometimes in December. That used to be very seasonal for animation. We could sort of predict that spring might be a time when auditions would come in. Excuse me, but now they just come in all through the year, and there's really no predictability on that. So, yeah, we never know what's around the corner.
Well, actually the Christmas thing kind of makes sense to me because if you consider a business is doing all their paperwork at the end of the year and getting their taxes ready for the next year, so they might be like, "Ooh, we have extra budget for this. Let's do this now."
That's probably true. I don't know, but it feels that way. I mean, it feels that way before we head out. So, and as far as studios, no, studios are usually working. And I wouldn't say around the clock. I think the Christmas holiday is really the big one. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's always Murphy's Law because whenever us actors try to get away, just for a week or something, Murphy's Law has it that all of a sudden auditions come up and you're like, and if you're in another city, like here in Toronto or New York or somewhere where you have access to a studio, you can always go in there and zip in. But sometimes, yeah, it's hard to juggle. And the thing is, if you didn't make a plan to go away, you probably never would go away. So, but we love what we do. I can't. We a lot of the actors when I talk to them, they say this is work. No, it's usually play for us. We enjoy it.
Well, that's the important thing, as long as you have a passion for your job.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's
And
great.
now, you mentioned Murphy's Law, and all I can think of is conventions, because whenever we have a convention,
Right,
something goes horribly wrong. It's
right,
Murphy's Law. But,
right. Yes,
but do
yeah.
you have any conventions coming up? Any events where the fans can meet you in person?
There is potential for a couple this summer, and I don't know if it's going to come through yet. So, but I will be happy to let you guys know or whomever when that's going to be. It's not etched in stone just yet, again, because there's a potential project coming up. But yeah, possibly in the summertime, I'm hoping to attend a couple of them. If there's an invitation and there's a time window, I'm there.
Well, if you let us know, we'll definitely let the listeners know.
Okay, sounds great, Jackie.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
All I can say is thanks to the fans for their, undying support, and we love that you guys are so connected to what we do, and your feedback's so important to us, and that's why we do it. So keep on listening and keep on viewing, and we'll be happy to meet you at the next con.
And thank you so much for being on the show. You were a great guest to have.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And for anybody out there that missed any of this interview, don't fret. It'll be up on the website within the next few days. So keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan, everything you want and nothing you don't.